podcast the other day with Donald Trump that'll air. And it was interesting that Donald said to me, he goes, you know, I've listened to the majority of the things you say, Governor, and they're all common sense. Now, imagine we're in a world now where common sense is considered radical. And because that's what we're in today. The far left and the far right are so out there in control now that the middle, where I come from, I'm from Midwest, I'm from South Minneapolis. How can I be any more middle?
Yeah.
Yet common sense middle is now, you're deemed by mainstream media as being radical.
Yeah, that's right. Well, there's a huge shift taking place, and I'm curious, with you broadcasting in Mexico, I'm talking about issues within America and others, and seeing how we share a border with America here in Canada, and so does Mexico. What are your thoughts on the North American Union that is being put together over the years between the three countries, this concept of uniting the three into one?
Well, you know, that's all part of these people that believe in globalization. Ultimately a one-world government. Now, I'm a realist, maybe, and I believe in evolution. Maybe we will evolve to that. Maybe ultimately, I don't know when, you know, how long have shuffled off this planet, but maybe it's evolution. Maybe we eventually will evolve to a one-world government, and this is all part of maybe of that evolution. Now, do I like it? Not particularly. Maybe I'm not prepared for it yet for whatever reason. I still like a little bit the idea of being from a country, but then again, when I take my philosophy and I look at the borders and I go, you know, they're all man-made. We're all human beings on this planet. Why do we have to have paperwork to travel around on it? And I look at it in that simplistic way. I mean, how weird is it? And why do you have to be a citizen to work somewhere? Shouldn't the freedom come from the employer? If I own a company and I should be able to hire who I want to get the job done, what difference does it make if that person's a citizen or not if I deduct taxes properly?
Right.
You know, I will tell you right now, having lived south of the border for 8 years, if I had a business that dealt with roofing or cement, I guarantee you I'd hire Mexicans, especially with cement. These guys are not cement workers, they're artists. I've watched them. It's passed down generation to generation to generation. I've lived off the grid and seen a house built by these people. Our construction guys would quit in a day. These guys build it with nothing but raw materials with no electricity from the ground up. And the cement work's unbelievable. It's like an artist. Now, if I own a company here in the States and I want to do cement work, wouldn't I hire the people who do it the best?
Right.
Well, why do they have to be citizens?
Right. Well,
you know?
Yep.
And that's how I feel. So I have inner conflict in me too. I'm patriotic, and yet on another part of me tugs and says, but wait a minute, we're all human beings. I'll tell you what disturbs me the most, and I'll lead the subject here a moment. Did you see the Gallup poll where they polled 66,000 people internationally, and they posed the question, whom do you fear most that will go to war against you? And that the United States overwhelmingly was the choice of 23%, almost 1 out of 4, said they feared mostly the United States of America when it came to war. Next was Pakistan at 8, then China at 6. And as a veteran, I hung my head in shame. And I thought, this is how people, and we in the United States need to start looking at our country from the outside in, not necessarily the inside out.
Yeah. Well, I think
and I do it every year for over 6 months.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I don't like what I see when I'm on the outside looking in.
Well, it sounds like you're almost have almost anarchistic philosophies to you, and I agree that.
I'm not anarchistic. I believe there needs to be government. In any civilized society, there has to be an organizing principle.
Right.
Or it ain't going to work.
Right.
I'm a realist.
But how do you
There's got to be government, but we don't need to put up fences and we don't need government. We've lost sight of the fact that we're the boss.
Right.
Government's supposed to work for us, not us work for government.
when it comes to globalization and uniting the world into one world government, it becomes a fine line when you talk about erasing borders, right? That is essentially uniting everybody into one.
Well, I guess you'd treat countries then like states, wouldn't you?
Right.
You know, we're the United States. There's 50 individual kind of little countries in our country. We're called the states.
Right.
And maybe it'll get to that. I don't know.
Right.
You know, maybe it's evolution. The one good thing about it in that utopian world, you know what would be good about a one world government?
What?
Technically, then there wouldn't be war, would there?
Well, maybe only war against the people with a world
police.
police.
Think about it, though. Wars are always caused government against government.
True.
And if everyone's under the same umbrella of government, well, I'm only saying technically. Certainly the reality is I'm sure there'd still be wars.
Yes.
But if you look at it utopian-wise, you'd think under a one-world government it would end war.
Right.